You won't believe why President Biden's asking for $100 billion, but I'm pretty much guessing that long-term viewers of my videos and those who are truly a part of this amazing community already have a feeling as to what it is. Any guesses for anybody new here?
Today I asked the Israeli cabinet, who I met with for some time this morning, to agree to the delivery of life-saving humanitarian assistance to civilians in Gaza, based on the understanding that there will be inspections and that the aid should go to civilians, not to Hamas. Israel agreed the humanitarian assistance can begin to move from Egypt to Gaza. But let me be clear, if Hamas diverts or steals the assistance, they will have demonstrated once again that they have no concern for the welfare of the Palestinian people. We're working in close cooperation with the government of Egypt, the United Nations and its agencies like the World Food Program and other partners in the region to get trucks moving across the border as soon as possible. Separately, I ask Israel that the global community demand that the International Red Cross be able to visit hostages. Today, I'm also announcing $100 million in new U.S. funding for humanitarian assistance in both Gaza and the West Bank. This money will support more than 1 million displaced and conflict-affected Palestinians, including emergency needs in Gaza.
Now, don't get me wrong, people need help. I get it. That much is for sure. But if you notice, I said $1 billion a while ago, not 100 mil. So what's the difference here, right? Because like I said, he's going to ask for $100 billion with a capital B, even though many critics are saying that, we're taking on a bit more than what we can handle. Not that our president thinks that way, though.
Are the wars in Israel and Ukraine more than the United States can take on at the same time?
We're the United States of America, for God's sake. The most powerful nation in the history, not in the world, in the history of the world. The history of the world. We can take care of both of these and still maintain our overall international defense.
All right, guys, I got to do it. Let's have a show of hands, or for this case on YouTube, it's likes. If you think that the United States is spreading itself just a little bit too thin, because remember, some say that the US used to be the most powerful in the world. Now with that, do you think we're pushing ourselves a little bit beyond our own limits and then maybe even a little bit more as we struggle to keep things, sane here at home as well? If you agree that this is something that's just too much for the US and President Biden to handle, go ahead and smash the like button, guys. And while you guys are at it, subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications because this information I'm giving you guys is the truth, right? All right, so getting back to the topic, guys, the $100 billion that he's asking for isn't just for the war. And I can already see the people in the comments, but just to confirm, yes, the budget does take into account Ukraine as well. I've seen a lot of witty comments in the past about this, especially about how we seem to be funding other countries more than our own people. I mean, heck, even more than people who are on Social Security. And while it's funny to some extent, it's also absolutely depressing to see a government just seem to not care as much about their own people as they should. Like, I don't want to be the bad guy here, but it's like we can send taxpayer money to all these different places, but like when we ask for help here, well, what do we get? Now you have to think that they're doing these huge dollar transfers for something nefarious because there's just so much money out there. But I digress. That's not my place to say. I can't say that I have any data to back it up, but just that this spending is just getting way out of control. But what's in this $100 billion request? Well, for starters, more than half of it, or around 60 billion big ones, are going to the Ukraine. $10 billion is going to be going to arm Israel. And the rest, well, I'm not entirely certain about that. I'll get you the update once they tell us, but know that besides those two countries, expect Taiwan to get something as well.
With tensions rising around the globe, the president will make a direct plea to the American people, saying there's an urgent need to keep money flowing to Israel and Ukraine. The president says it's a perilous moment for global democracy. CBS News has learned the president will ask Congress for roughly $100 billion over the next year, including $10 billion toward Israeli defense and $60 billion for Ukraine and its war against Russia. The package also includes money for Taiwan and U.S. border security. The Biden administration plans to give $100 million in humanitarian aid to the Palestinians, provided from already existing funds.
Man, oh man. I'm sorry, folks. Just breathing a little bit heavier here because I'm a little short on words because I'm just thinking about the possibility of the United States, the country we all love and that we're all proud of, being involved in not one, not two, but 3 freaking proxy wars. Unbelievable. And you got to remember, This isn't their money. That's our money that's going out, you know? And I guess that's why I need your help to boost this video. Share this video to everyone you know and smash the thumbs up button because this definitely affects all of us. Like, how many of y'all are working multiple jobs right now? How many are frustrated with their federal benefits getting cut? How many are struggling to keep food on the table, yet because of work and pay taxes, they don't even benefit our lives?
House Republicans have passed a bill that would raise the debt limit, but it comes with conditions, including extensive cuts to the federal budget. Verify viewer Tom wanted to know whether those cuts would affect veterans benefits. So, Tom, let's verify. Our sources are the text of the bill, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, the Department of Veterans Affairs, the Congressional Budget Office, and David Wessel, a budget expert from Brookings. The bill imposes a cap on the total amount of discretionary spending each year. That covers everything from government salaries to weapons for the military. It doesn't touch mandatory spending, like Social Security, which is pre-approved from older laws. The CBO calculated that next year, nearly $230 billion would need to be cut, and over the next decade, about $3.6 trillion. So where would those cuts come from? Well, the bill doesn't say, meaning it'd be decided somewhere down the road by appropriations committees.
It's very easy to say, I want to cap discretionary spending, and I'll figure out later what gets cut. And so the people who propose the caps do this on purpose because they don't want to pick and choose. They don't want to make enemies of people whose program is going to be cut. And the people who oppose the caps say, well, if you impose this across the board, XYZ is going to be cut. So there's no way to win that argument.
Again, I'm not trying to sway you from one side to the other. That's not the point. I'm looking out for the American people, the people that work tirelessly just to continue to provide their families. This isn't fair for us, and you guys know that to be true. We're taxed for our entire lives, and what do we have to show for it? Now, while I'm worked up a little bit here, do you think that every dollar should be accounted for when the White House does these different things? Because let's be honest, we really don't know how the money is actually used. It's like saying, you know, you're gonna have dinner for $1,000 and that's it. You don't need to say how much the food was, the valet, the drinks. Heck, you don't even say when you went out. All you, or in this case, they need to say is that they're using $1,000 and that's it. Now, before anybody misses the entire point or doesn't even get this video this far, I'm reminding you guys that I'm not saying that we shouldn't help. Let me be 100% clear on that because, you know, some people take the message the wrong way. But if we are to help, why not help those here at home first before others? But what am I talking about? The president isn't even here as much.
Well, there you have live images from Tel Aviv as President Biden steps out of Air Force One and begins his visit to Israel, an incredibly high-stakes mission to the country just less than 24 hours after the tragic blast at the hospital in Gaza. You can see him there with Benjamin Netanyahu. We'll see if we can get any sound. I believe at the moment we just have the images here, but an incredibly difficult and now even more complicated mission facing the U.S. president.
And he's expected, of course, to speak with the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and there he is being greeted by him and members of his entourage in Tel Aviv. Of course, Air Force One just landed a couple of minutes ago. Later, he's expected to meet as well with first responders, followed by meeting with families of victims from the October 7 terrorist attack.
And with that, I leave the judgment with y'all. Make sure you share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And before I go, guys, I just want to thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Please keep safe. Thanks for dropping a like for the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.